What if the royal lineage we've known for decades were built on a deception of Shakespearean proportions? The royal accountant's clandestine revelation sends shockwaves through the palace halls, unraveling a tapestry of secrets woven by none other than Prince Philip himself. Discover the hidden dynamics and forbidden truths that lurk behind closed royal doors. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. At the heart of this concealed drama is the royal accountant, a figure typically shadowed by ledgers and numbers, now thrust into a maelstrom of drama seldom witnessed outside of fiction. This accountant, let's weave him into our story, not just as a faceless figure shuffling papers, but a confidant, an unlikely ally of Prince Philip. Their bond was unusual. Where others saw mere ledgers, Philip confided matters of lineage. Through whispered conversations, suspicions rose, questioning the very sanctity of the royal succession plan, a secret desire of Philip deviating from tradition, like a rogue wave defying its tide. The bombshell revelation of Philip's deep-rooted preference for Edward over Charles as his heir threatens to unravel the tightly knit tapestry of royal tradition. Here lay an uncharted twist, striking the core of a monarchy bound by convention and hierarchy. The depth of this explosive claim was enough to cast ripples of uncertainty and foreboding. Philip's reasons, bathed in ambiguity, hovered as a shield or a sword, raising questions of motives obscured in the shadows, preserved by none but the accountant's wary gaze. Such a shocking truth holds the power to bulge the trajectories of two lives, magnificently favoured yet veiled within the royal guild. Charles and Edward, though brothers by blood, are dramatically shaped by the prism of Philip's undisclosed favoritism. Picture the calculated precision that guided Edward through milestones, orchestrating moments of triumph that fed a favoured son's image, a dance of achievements weaving what might have been the throne's natural preference, long cloaked in ambiguity. And Charles, with a legacy heavier than his shoulders could bear, carved out his path of distinction dimmed by the unsanctioned shadow of preference. Each son, a constellation distinct, bears a personality cut asunder from the other. Charles, steadfast but introspective, carving his legacy upon his own terms, navigating the precarious landscapes dictated by royal expectations. Edward exudes a blend of charisma and astute grace, an embodiment of potential veiled in secrecy. The dichotomy between them signals more than familial rivalry. It translates into a tapestry of potential rifts, poised to reshape the royal family into unforeseen forms. Through these revelations, a poignant emotional current courses where Philip's hidden truth reshapes a once steady journey. Characters called into question by bloodlines are, with bittersweet reality, forced to face a reshaped destiny, untangling the threads of history. Intriguingly, beneath the resonance of these truths lay another unspoken legacy. Philip's truths withheld from Queen Elizabeth II about her kingdom's succession, a silent betrayal, or perhaps a guarded counsel shelved within the folds of a sovereign's mantle. Beneath the royal crimson, forgotten tensions simmer and spark, prepared to ignite a blaze as new truths come to light. In the dimly lit corridors of Buckingham Palace, the weight of unsaid words fills the air. Among unyielding traditions, Philip's whispered preferences point to a royal intrigue so profound it could change monarchy's course. Step into clandestine meetings where destinies were silently decided. Within these echoing halls, conversations are rarely at face value, each whisper echoing a promise, a plea, or a peril. Philip's relationship with his sons was no exception, cloaked in complexity as he balanced his role as a father with the crushing expectations of monarchy. The tensions simmering beneath their polished public images often surfaced in subtle gestures, a fleeting glance, or a curt word, a tapestry of emotions woven thick with tacit rivalry and unspoken expectations. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Philip convened with his accountant in discreet meetings, crafting a shadow legacy that seemed to diverge from the patrician path set before him. This was not a man easily bent to tradition. Rather, he harbored personal desires that frequently jostled against the rigid frame of royal protocol. In those moments of quiet rebellion, where only the accountant bore witness, Philip painted an alternative narrative, one where the strings of power could be pulled to a rhythm of his choosing. Yet within these confidences lay the stark contrast between tradition and innovation, embodied in his view towards his heirs. There was Charles, the steadfast, dutiful son, the emblem of loyalty forged in the tempered fires of expectation, and then Edward with his youthful vigour, an emblem of what Philip sometimes longed to champion, but could rarely endorse openly. The admiration he felt for Edward's courage to push boundaries often collided with his sense of obligation to support the world's expectation of a traditional succession through Charles. Publicly, Philip's speeches, those rare showcases of unguarded moments, sometimes slipped an unplanned revelation hinting at these submerged agendas, misdirected sympathies, veiled by equivocal phrases, only fueled whispers of what might unfold behind the velvet curtains. His accountant, a diligent custodian of secrets, wrestled with this dual life, bound by duty yet tempted by the moral complexities of disclosure. The ledger held more than just numbers. It chronicled dreams and schemes that were, for Philip, both a refuge and a rebellion. As confidences were exchanged in those hushed conversations, each moment of disclosure was weighted against the responsibility of legacy, an internal battle as riveting as any within the palace walls. As the shroud of secrecy begins to lift, we venture back in time to unravel the moments that sowed discord and favoritism in a family seen by all but truly understood by few. How does it feel to live a life shadowed by an unspoken doubt cast by your own father? For Charles, this question loomed over every moment, like the unyielding gaze of ancestral portraits, borne into the weight of legacy and expectation. Each ceremonial wave and every stately smile masked a more profound struggle, the relentless pursuit of a destiny not quite his own. From the earliest days, it was whispered in the corridors of the palace and well beyond its gates that Charles was the inevitable future. Yet the future never felt more like a cage than a throne. Each crown represents an inheritance, a promise shadowed by the spectres of duty and personal truth, bound together in his complex inner world. His relationship with Prince Philip brings intriguing depth to this narrative. Publicly, they stood side by side, two pillars of the monarchy, captured in countless photographs and frozen, seemingly impervious, yet inside lay the tremors of a relationship that was all too human. Charles's profound respect for Philip was tempered by a subtle tension. There existed a private chasm, an unarticulate, distance that photographs could never capture. In moments of silence, the whispers of childhood tingled, memories that lingered heavily. Philip's quiet satisfaction with Edward, the son he peppered with affections, not quite equaled in Charles. These memories, both soft and sharp, painted a picture of an ideal not met, leaving Charles gazing into mirrors, questioning a reflection that was neither fully his own nor entirely his father's. These musings led Charles inward, where the poignancy of his reflections seeped into the pages of his diaries. They revealed a man acutely aware of the burden imposed by tradition, a burden compounded by the murmurs of a dynasty that seemed always just out of reach. These documents, whispering unto themselves, recount a deep-seated emotional turmoil, like tears unshed in a chapel echoing with ancient prayers. As if a lifetime of standing in the limelight cast shadows which only intensified his internal dialogues, doubting, questioning, wondering if perhaps he had been born on the wrong side of favour. Yet even amidst this ebb and flow of familial love, expectations and introspection, one particular moment crystallizes Charles's experience. It was a moment not of grandeur, but of quiet resonance. An instance where the burden became a palpable weight. In a flicker of realization, not being the chosen one turned into an acceptance of sorts, a subtle understanding that in not being selected, he was, for better or for worse, freed to become something entirely his own. It was a realization both isolating and liberating, akin to a single rose blooming amidst a winter storm, silent yet defiant. Amidst the silent corridors of doubt, we pivot to explore Edward's perception and his race against an unseen clock, a timing usurper of shadows. Edward, ever the shadowy prince, groomed amidst the glistening halls and lush gardens of royal privilege, carried an unusual aura, a blend of regal bearings and the unassuming simplicity of an artisan. Under Philip's discerning, if not somewhat calculated gaze, Edward became more than a mere figure in the court's tapestry. His life unfolded with unexpected vibrancy, painted equally by the grand tapestries of ancestral duty and the muted tones of personal freedom. Philip, whose wisdom was whispered through the vaults of power, watched with an unwavering interest, sensing a potential that lay beneath Edward's understated demeanour. Yet Edward was ever the wild stallion. His heart yearned beyond the confines of marble walls and ceremonial decorum. He embarked on daring ventures that were whispered about along the corridors of power, reckless to some but undeniably magnetic to Philip. There was something in Edward's defiant spirit, a sparkle that captivated with its sincerity and audacity, challenging the quiet norms of royal tradition. This quiet rebellion earned him a place in Philip's confidences, who wove subtle hints of admiration and intrigue into idle conversations. These offhand remarks, draped in the secrecy of gentle suggestion, hinted at unseen shifts, a royal order that seemed as fluid and uncertain as the winds that whispered through the palace grounds. Within Edward himself, there stirred a contradiction, a fevered ambition brimming within his veins against the weight of Philip's expectations, which felt at once like a gilded cage and a crown of thunderous opportunity. The tension swelled beneath the polished veneers of genteel gatherings, where beneath the gilded chandeliers, unspoken desires clashed with hereditary rights in a silent, spectral battle. A clandestine undercurrent rumbled beneath the kingdom, hinting at a hierarchy on the verge of seismic upheaval, with Edward unknowingly as its epicenter. It was during hushed evenings beneath the muted glow, a hesitant moon, that Edward felt the tremors of change. Intangible yet undeniable, a shift echoed through the silent corridors of his home, etching itself upon the walls in shadows of consequence. A whisper among family members, a strange hesitation in customary rituals. These signs flickered on the edges of his awareness, leaving him balanced on the precipice of realization, teetering amidst possibility and doubt. His world, once as steady as an oak, seemed to sway with unending motion, whispering simple truths with staggering consequences. The unexpected publicity of his rise ensued, an unforeseen ascension casting ripples across the royal pond, influencing everything it touched. With Edward stepping into a role intertwined with expectation, hope, and tradition, the monarchy was set adrift upon a new course, a path governed by impulsive winds and unseen hands. The realm's destiny, newly bound to Edward, unfolded like a tapestry woven from threads of ancient causes and fresh promises, spinning a tale that would ultimately rewrite history's echo. As the royal horizon dramatically shifts, the Queen's steadfast composure is challenged, uncovering in her a mix of shock, resolve, and resilience. However, even as tides change, the sea is not yet satiated, poised to reveal yet more truths hidden within its tumultuous depths. In the halls of power, the Queen remains a pillar of endurance. But even the most steadfast monarch cannot ignore the winds of change that whip through the palace, threatening to tear apart the legacy she has painstakingly upheld. Join the ultimate sovereign struggle between adherence to tradition and the quiet force of inconvenient truths. It is often in the thick of renewed turbulence that the Queen's wisdom glows with an unmatched luminescence. This is where her reign finds its most profound expression, a quiet yet untamable force of resilience. Though burdened by more than 6 decades of sovereign struggles and victories, she remains unyielding, a living testament to the crown's pragmatism and grace. Yet beneath this polished veneer, a storm brews, as the promise of new beginnings reveals a canvas painted with the unfamiliar hues of the future. The old guards whisper tales of uncertainty, tales best left unspoken, reverberating through the ancient stones of the palace. Her gaze turns inward when presented with the implications of succession, her silence heavy with unspoken questions about who shall inherit the intricate tapestry of lineage after Charles. The very thought strikes a chord deep within her. It stirs echoes of her own ascent, fraught with its own trials and triumphs. It's an unanticipated revelation, a challenge clothed in familial flesh that baffles and bemuses her, as it seems a riddle wrapped in the folds of her once unshakable certainties. Amidst this rattle of unforeseen disputes, there stands Philip, his presence a blend of decorum and divergence. A man of his own convictions, his views often diverge from the Queen's steadfast adherence to tradition. There is an unvoiced dialogue between them, a delicate balance of understanding not to be swayed by an external storm. Yet, his occasional dissent remains a lingering note in the royal symphony, a reminder that even the most formidable intellect can be met with opposition from within. Still, coated in regality, the Queen stands unperturbed, an embodiment of self-restraint, even as the household teeters on the brink of discord. In the swirl of family chaos and emotional discord, the Queen emerges with poise almost regal in its display. She deftly juxtaposes serenity against the turmoil, wielding an inexorable manner and strategic foresight. It is a choreography of calculated decisions, one that seeks to reinvigorate the institution's legacy, curing its place in the hearts of the people and the annals of history. Her every move, measured and deliberate, fortifies the very foundation of royal integrity amidst the din of dissenting hearts. Her journey is a narrative of undying commitment, a reminder that her love for the crown endures, irrespective of whispers and fluctuating allegiances. Through the winds of change and amidst the shadows of uncertainty, the Queen's mantle of sovereignty remains unwavered, a beacon that defiantly flickers against the encroaching night. Her story is one of enduring strength, a tribute to her unyielding spirit, poised to weather the dawning era she helped mold with such skillful hands. In the aftermath of imperial revelations, family loyalty and personal ambition collide as stakes become sky-high for the royal institution. Inside the gilded cage, royal kinship faces its most daunting test. Torn between public unity and private divisions, the royal family must confront the harsh consequences of Philip's clandestine preference. Witness royal solidarity stride a precarious line, as the House of Windsor finds itself stretched thin. Whispers echo through the corridors of the palace, harbingers of the unspokenness that eats away at familial bonds. Unresolved tension lingers like a storm cloud, heavy with secrets and veiled resentment. Beneath the glittering veneer of jewels and crowns, the family wrestles with the truths they dare not utter, truths that, if spoken, could shatter the delicate balance they struggle to maintain. In the hushed confines of private chambers, where formality is less demanded, emotional pleas and intimate conversations steal center stage. They are raw, often heartbreaking, punctuated by the tremor of voices, teetering on the edge of despair. Each word spoken carries the weight of uncharted futures, every glance exchanged tethered by the unyielding rope of duty. Meanwhile, lesser-known royals drift in the wake of these turbulent dialogues, their aspirations and dreams cast into disarray by the family's internal upheaval. These quiet figures, pillars of stability when obscured from the public eye, find their futures intertwined with the ongoing rift, shadows of a legacy they are bound to continue, yet powerless to dictate. Beyond palace walls, public perception weaves its own tale, a facade of indomitable unity masking the fractures within. The monarchy is an institution steeped in tradition, a bastion of continuity, yet behind closed doors, unity falters, succumbing to the weight of personal ambitions and past grievances. The nation's perception becomes a double-edged sword, driving the embattled family to maintain a cohesive front even as their foundations crumble. Caught in the crossfire of this familial dissonance, the brotherhood between Charles and Edward teeters on a precipice, perilously balanced between rivalry and kinship. Their conversations crackle with tension, words loaded with a lifetime of unacknowledged emotions. To the world, they stand as brothers, a united front, but away from the scrutinizing public eye, the fragility of their bond is laid bare, each exchange underpinned by decades of competition and expectations. Their relationship is caught in a perpetual dance between allegiance and discord. Hovering over this arena of private turmoil, the King's Council moves like a chess player, poised for strategic brilliance. Tasked with the impossible, they strive to navigate the storm brewing within the House of Windsor, managing public spectacles while quelling the invisible fires of dissent. Their role becomes the linchpin, both shield and sword, as they endeavor to preserve an empire on the brink of implosion. In these trying moments, every decision echoes beyond mere personal resolve. It has become a matter of dynasty of legacy at stake. As the family's internal reconciliations falter, a new element is poised to emerge from the shadows, challenging all they hold dear. This new adversary, cloaked yet omnipresent, promises to test the resolve of each royal heart against the unyielding tide of fate. Behind the royal standard lies a nation seemingly undivided, yet simmering beneath the surface is a cauldron of anticipation and doubt. As the dawn of revelation breaks upon the monarchy, the stakes have never been higher. The whispers that once gently spiraled around Prince Philip's choice for a successor swell into a full-blown storm, shaking not just the stone walls of Westminster, but echoing across the globe. The palace, usually an impregnable bastion of tradition and silence, finds every corner under the glaring light of public scrutiny. Each gaze, every gasp, magnifies the weight of secrets long buried and loyalties tested. The epicenter of this momentous uproar is the revelation of Philip's gaze, not squarely set on his immediate heir, Charles, but intriguingly, on his more enigmatic son, Edward. This revelation sends shockwaves rippling across the British Isles, outward to the far reaches of the Commonwealth, and reverberating through the corridors of power across continents. The nation watches, breath collectively held, as the centuries-old institution faces its gravest test yet. Pictures and letters, once sealed in vaults, now find themselves splashed across pageantry tabloids and reputable journals alike. Leaked documents, relics of royal history, meant only for shadows, erupt into the fiery spectacle of daytime discourse, each fragment of evidence adding inferno to the firestorm engulfing the palace. Caught within this maelstrom, the monarchy resorts to meticulously crafted PR strategies, desperate to sustain the illusion of unity and timeless ideals. A finely tuned symphony of formal statements and elegantly threaded press briefings struggles to mask an escalating dissonance, a kingdom caught between preserving dignity and embracing the evolving clamour for transparency. But even the most polished facade cannot dull the thrum of tension, a tune echoing off the cobblestone streets and within parlours as the public remains deeply divided. On one side are the ardent loyalists, steadfast in their support for Charles, a symbol of continuity and tradition. On the other, seekers of disruption and new beginnings gaze enthralled at Edward, their hopeful champion. Amidst this throbbing heartbeat of a nation on edge, politics seep into royal prerogatives, crossing the boundaries like treacherous tides. Policies, familiar and foreign now, intertwine with the affairs of the crown, influencing decisions once considered solely the domain of monarchs. These political repercussions cast a longer and more uncertain shadow, a question echoing from the benches of Parliament to dinner tables across the land. What does the future hold for the crown? An institution both revered and reviled. Everything hinges, it seems, upon whether the past will suffocate the throne's splendor or if a new era will rise from the ashes of scandal. Despite the unsettling reports and rising speculations, the resolution rests upon one man's unexpected, decisive course of action, a legacy-defining moment for the monarchy. In these turbulent times, not merely the weight of crowns, but the will of people shall define the path forward, whether a history of grace and endurance will prevail, or if a new dawn of audacious pivoting will redefine this grand kingdom forever. At the crossroads of royal destiny, one final defining act remains. The time has come for Charles, Edward, and the wider family to face Philip's unspoken decree head-on. Will familial love conquer the turmoil, or I? The crown headed toward an uncharted future in the dimly lit tapestry of court intrigue. Charles emerged from the shadows, no longer the heir apparent haunted by what might be, but a figure ignited by necessity. Decades of expectation bore down upon him like an iron weight. Yet here, at this precipice, preparation morphed into resolution. His heart, a churning storm of loyalty and ambition, found its voice in the solemn halls where kings have been made and unmade. He spoke not just for himself, but for an entire lineage that clawed toward a future still clouded by uncertainty. The air hung heavy with unspoken vows and dreams, yet to be realized, and Charles knew the full measure of what was at stake. But if Charles was fire, then Edward was the deep, contemplative river cutting silently beneath. He drifted into unseen waters, a sobering journey of introspection, unspooling in the caverns of his mind. The backdrop of familial duty painted itself in stark relief, urging him toward an unforeseen mantle he had never intended to grasp. Secrets murmured through ancestral corridors, each whisper entangling him further in the web of his own doubts. He yearned to break free, to carve his own identity amidst shadows long cast by the monarchy's formidable hand. In these tension-fraught times, the Queen appeared as a pillar, her wisdom a beacon against the surging tide of antipathy. She mediated the discord with a gentle command, drawing clarity from the chaos, as if sculpting marble from the raw stone. Her counsel, a delicate blend of empathy and steel, sought to bridge the chasms of misunderstanding born out of a shared history that seemed at times both a curse and a blessing. In her eyes lay the eternal dance of duty and affection, a dance she knew all too well. Summons rippled through the royal veins, each call to the family summit an unrelenting reminder of their shared bonds now strained yet unbreakable. Faces familiar yet foreign met in a clash of wills, heartbeats echoing like war drums as truths, until now, buried beneath pomp and expectation, emerged into the blinding light. Betrayals struck like glass shattering on polished floors, an emotional reckoning that threatened to drown them in its wake. Voices raised, once restrained, now urgent, with the need to heal or else destroy. In that crucible of choice, the ultimatum fell like a guillotine, a searing edict that demanded everything and promised only the unknown in return. The monarchy, a relic yet vibrant, stood at the brink of an unanticipated journey, past certainties slipping through fingers like sands of time. What was once given could now be taken away, the mantle of prophecy heavy upon their shoulders, urging decisions that would etch their fates in history itself. Yet, amid the ruins of certainty, glimmerings of hope began to stir. Out of destabilizing roots, tentative shoots of rebirth emerged, creating pathways forged more in hope than in certainty. A new dawn beckoned, a measureless moment where past met future, irreversibly entwined. With forever altered faith in the crown, the path forward appears uncertain. Yet from destabilizing roots, hope arises. A rebirth begins. Amidst the ashes of controversy lies the potential for rebirth within the British monarchy. An institution so deeply woven into the fabric of history has the unique resilience to reconstruct itself against the stormy backdrop of truth and revelation. As the shadows of past discord begin to dissipate, a new era emerges, characterized by a collective resolve to bridge the chasms that once threatened to shake the family's core. The royal family, now standing at a crossroads, undertakes a journey of healing that not only echoes throughout their lineage, but also resonates with the nation they represent through candid reconciliation and renewed expressions of faith. Both public and private trust is reclaimed as they step into the future with open hearts and unwavering determination. The lessons of the past inform new beginnings as age-old expectations give way to innovative pathways for governance, ones that embrace modernity while honoring tradition. This transformation is not solely confined to ceremonial praxis, but is deeply rooted in personal evolution. Each family member, navigating the treacherous terrain of their unique roles, begins to redefine what it means to belong to the House of Windsor. In this era of reflection, previously stringent roles soften, allowing for a more inclusive and mature vision of the crown to flourish, one that is emblematic of growth, empathy, and acceptance. Underpinning these changes is a dynamic theme of redemption, demonstrating that legacy is not a monolithic narrative etched in stone, but rather a living testament to the capricities of human endeavor. The journey toward a hopeful future is not without its trials. Yet, it is within these very challenges that the royal family finds its strength renewed, united by an understanding that redemption is both a personal and collective odyssey. As we look toward the horizon, the legacy of the monarchy unfolds anew, an enduring lesson of perseverance through an age-old institution. This chapter affirms that within each ending lies the promise of a new beginning, illuminating the path forward with possibilities as vast as the history from which it rises.